nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
A guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin still lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS.
Hello everybody and welcome back to PSGL. We hope you all had a fantastic Christmas and New Year. Now, right before we went off for the winter break, we had a very exciting race at Singapore. And to remind you of what happened at Singapore, I've created you a little bit of highlights to watch. So you guys can come up to date and get ready before we get racing at Spain later on. In the commentary box, my name is Omi. I'll be joined by Max. Apologies if the highlights are a tiny bit blurry. That will be sorted for next time out. But now I'm going to let you enjoy the 7 minutes of action from Singapore. 2023 is 5 red lights away. And PSGL goes racing on the streets of Singapore. Good reaction time from Keanu Leitard. Zach Miles is contending with Exafox and he's going to be pushed off the road. They go side by side in the battle for second position, and the driver on the medium compound of tyres is trying to fight his way through. On the opening lap of this one, Zach Miles got the inside line. He has got second position. He gets past Exafox, who will have to contend now with Tyres Korsman. They're both on the hard compound of tyres as Exafox tries to fight back. Dream getaway by Keanu Leitard. He has the lead, battling absolutely everywhere as the long way around takes Tyres Korsman to P3. He gets past Exafox in fourth, not the opening lap that he wanted, as he gets a bit of a tag by Felipe Sousa as they battle. It's Menno up against Dustin in the background, but it's Keanu Leitard with the lead. And Zach Miles is going to be taking the lead. Here we go. And at the new part of the circuit, the new layout here in PSGL, here in Singapore for the first time. And it sees Zach Miles now taking P1 on the road. And that is what we love to see. A few changes as he's got the medium compound of tyres. So his goal right now at this stage is to drive away from the field. So we're going to be seeing him trying to push away and everyone in second trying to stay close to him. And there we see some side by side as that's lit on the brakes by the P16 man. Good traction off the corner by Victor Vidler, who is going to try and go wheel to wheel. He'll have the inside line on the brakes down to turn number 16 and 17. Is he going to be able to get this move done? Late on the brakes, diving to the inside line. But of course, Snake won't give it up, and it might open the door. And at a part of a circuit where we shouldn't be going wheel to wheel, we are, because it's PSGL, and off the road goes Jelty Korsman. And this is the incredible action that PSGL delivers to you weekly as well. Victor Vidler trying to fight back to the inside line, long way round, and Jelty Korsman trying to get his way through. And it was almost a double overtake, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. PSGL has been delivering you with some fantastic action all season, and there's some more for you as well. Isaacs has dropped off Materia, and that is the indication to Menno to fight his way through, and he's got through into 8th position right now. And Kuba has had a moment in the Ferrari to bring out the yellow flags, and it looks like he has lost out there, and he's lost a lot of position. Just a spin, no front wing, lost. We've had a bit of action though while that's gone on, and Alessandro Finn has had a moment to be overtaken by Kuba, and Tyus Korsman was having a go. And now this is when it all starts happening, where it's been so quiet, where we've really just had to show you a few drivers. Now it's all going to start happening as we see a move. With Jelty Korsman getting his way past Danny. But he ain't going to go for anything down here. What about Felipe Salza, who this time's been able to get to the inside line, but not the corner first, because they run side by side. The AlphaTauri's got the inside line, and this is exactly what I was talking about. One opportunity for Felipe Salza to make the move, and it could have meant that they fall outside the 1 second, and it has meant they've fallen outside the 1 second. Here we go. Felipe Salza, this is exactly what I was talking about. No DRS means that Exafoxes are sitting duck, and the Mercedes driver fights his way through. So now what he's going to do is gain through these next few couple of corners, get back inside the 1 second, and it should hopefully be back to normal. Singapore really is, and it's going to continue getting exciting, because we have Zach Miles, our race leader, after leading this race. Basically, straight after he got the move done on Keanu Littard, he has now dived it into the pit lane. So now we're starting to see the few pit stops come in. Dustin made his pit stop earlier on. He also started on those medium compound of tyres. Not the only few drivers coming in. We have Menno diving it in. We have Jelty Korsman as well. Unfortunately for this race, not being able right now to be up there with his branch of lead, as his brother does move up. Tyus Korsman takes P1 on the road to become our 3rd leader of the race, of the Alfa Romeo driver, coming out ahead. And there we go. So it's going to be Dustin who moves up as well. So the undercut being powerful as expected, of maintaining that position. And now Tyus Korsman has got to get those tyres up to temperature. Menno's in this battle now as well. So these guys have got to close up back to the 1 second, and that's exactly what I was talking about a few gaps starting to come in. And this is going to be a crucial battle now. Tyus Korsman trying to fight his way through, trying to dive to the inside for a net 2nd position in the race, and he's done it. Tyus Korsman makes the move and gets past Dustin. And now next up for him is the net race leader of this one. When everyone else dive it into the pit, this is going to be the battle for the win. You can see, here we go, he's got the rear wing open, doesn't even need to use ERS. The drive he got off the corner means that he was tucked behind the rear wing, and now he was alongside, and now he's ahead when he gets to the braking zone. So it's Tyus Korsman now in the net race lead. Zach Miles is going to be in a net 2nd. Then Menno in 3rd, Dustin in 4th. And these drivers all having to do a lot of work if they want to have a go at this one as well. And this is going to be one of them. He's going to try and get past the Haas, who squeezes him a tiny bit. Does Keanu Littard go the long way around? This is going to be risky stuff, and he's going to get forced out wide. But now he'll rejoin the road, dives back to the inside line. Does he finally have the position? Is the Haas still alongside? They're wheel to wheel. This is close to contact, but the Aston Martin driver is inching ahead momentarily. They're going to go side by side, and Dustin knows it's single file through this part of the lap, backs out. Keanu Littard says thank you very much. He probably wanted to say that earlier on, and he probably wanted that to not be much more of a fight than it was, but it was a fight. And Exafox now is going to have a big chance as well to make the move. You can see ERS being used by the AlphaTauri man, going to the outside line. Dustin slots back in, as Keanu Littard now has to get back inside the 1 second, which he should be able to do with ease on Menno. And then have a go using a bit of ERS, as you can see, just to make sure that he gets it on the start-finish straight as well. So, Zach Miles moves up as well to second. But this is the move coming. A crucial move. Keanu Lizard can't get it yet, but he's diving to the inside. That is close to contact. Are they going to be able to make their way through in one piece? They will. And Keanu Lizard fights a way through. One's got past. Here comes the other one. Can Exafox go the long way around? And his men are going to stick a nose up in there. Wide for Keanu Lizard because he might have thought that McLaren was going to dive to the inside. Oh, this is absolute chaos. Almost 4 wide into the braking zone. Felipe Sousa gets his way through. Spin for Exafox. Exafox is round. Contact is made with Dustin. And it was getting a bit too close. And we're momentarily going 3 wide. Down to turn number 1. Victor Riddler trying to go round the outside. Oh, Jelty Coulson, who I believe might have a bit of damage. Diving to the inside is Mattia Ria. And Keanu Lizard was just about able to escape all of this carnage that is currently unfolding in front of your eyes. And unfortunately, those were the last few moments you were able to see live due to EA server issues, which meant that we were not able to resume the race. Tyus Korsman ended up the winner, and we will go through the full results shortly. Hello everybody and welcome back. Hopefully you all enjoyed the highlights and were able to catch up with what happened last time out when we last went racing. Now inside in the commentary box, my name is Omi, as I mentioned earlier, and this time now you can also get Max here as well. As you can see, we unfortunately don't have his camera today, but he is inside the commentary box, so you guys will have to stare at his profile picture for today. Hello Max.
Hello Omi. It's a pleasure to be back. Of course, I was up in F4 last time out in Singapore, and that was a very well done highlight reel, must I say, on me. Very, very well made. And yeah, it's looking to be a good race here today around the Circuit de Catalunya in Spain. And I mean, as you said to me earlier in the build-up, that we've not had a repeat winner so far this season. So can anybody get a first win here today, or could someone finally break that streak and get a second win so far this season? It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it, Omi? And also, how are you on this Thursday evening?
I'm doing incredibly well. First commentary of the year, so really excited. And yeah, exactly as you mentioned, it is just amazing that we still haven't had a repeat winner this season. And if you look at the standings, which we're going to go through in a second, we'll quickly go through the results as well. There are still drivers who you look at who still can win, who we think still can win a race with the pace they have demonstrated as well. But these are the results from last time out. Well, your championship leader, he came into the race as the championship leader, and he obviously took victory as well, and he's been really consistent this season. That's why he was and that's also why he was the championship leader before he even won a race. But great stuff by him to take victory last time out in Singapore. Now obviously we had EA issues, as you would have found out at the end of the highlights. So we weren't able to see with the drivers who went longer with the strategy. We didn't get to really see the strategy play out at the end. So unfortunately it did mean that we didn't get to see the battle all the way at the end. But Tyus Coulson was able to take victory. But it was half points awarded due to all of that chaos at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it was very unfortunate to see with, I mean, it happened in F4 as well, that it was just a server-wide issue. And I mean, it would have been interesting to see how those strategies would have played out, and if it would have been a completely different story, either championship-wise or even just in the race results, would Tyus Korsman even would have won that race, depending on how the strategy went. So it's unfortunate, but of course, there's some drivers that can redeem themselves here today after their unfortunate circumstances that happened last time out. So, of course, round 8 of the season. It's a circuit where you can overtake, a bit unlike Singapore. It's going to be a bit of an easier affair on the overtaking front. And with it also being half points awarded for Singapore, it also means that Tyus Korsman wasn't able to build out as much of a championship lead as he would have hoped from Singapore. So it's still all to play for here, and we've still got 4 rounds left to go. So we're going to be in for a dramatic final few races, I think, Common.
Yeah, we definitely are going to be in for some dramatic racing all the way till the end of the championship. And Tyus Korsman, as you can now see on your screen, 8 points ahead of Felipe Sousa. You'll be able to hear from him later on as well about how he's going to try and maintain his gap in the title race as well, but he's got a good advantage right now, 8 points, but to be honest, with the gaps how they've been this season, he's kind of extended, and if he can win this weekend, then he'll really need that to try extend it. And if he really wants to go into next few rounds feeling like that, he's got possibly even one hand on the championship trophy. But right now, as it stands in this season, it doesn't look like we're going to get to that point because of how it's all changing around as well. So great to see. But I was mentioning also Keanu Leotard as well as one of the drivers who's taken 2 poles this season but has not taken a victory. So possibly a victory could have been on last time out, but we obviously don't know how that race would have ended. So there's definitely possibilities that we could continue that streak, and it would be amazing if we are able to. But I think we could also see someone break that streak as well. Aston Martin have the championship lead ahead of Williams, which obviously has the 2 Korsman brothers, as we mentioned so many times for you this season as well. So let's see if Williams will be able to close the gap in there, and then we'll quickly run you through the calendar. Qualifying is underway, so we'll get onto that in a second. But we have obviously 4 rounds now to decide the title. We're here at Spain, then we go to Miami, Britain, and Bahrain as well. And here is the venue that we do battle on today. 4.6 kilometers, 2.8 miles, 14 turns, and obviously no more of that annoying chicane for all of the drivers. And I think the action could be really, really interesting as well. And talking about the action, we've obviously driven here before in PSGL. This was contact between the leaders on the final lap of the race, down to turn number 1, battling on the last lap. And Danico and Sven Schumacher had contact, and Sven Schumacher dropped down the order, and he would rejoin a few positions down, as you can see, dropping down the order as he got back into the race. But it can get really tense on the final lap. This was on lap number 9 though. This was Miko versus Stella. They started battling to turn 5. We can see sometimes the battles continue all the way down to turn number 7. If he kept his foot in around the outside, it would have been a one-way ticket to the gravel. Very late lunge by Daniel at turn number 10, and he forced Timur off the ride. Fionn McKee said thank you very much and took the position on that day. But now, as you can now see, hopefully on your screen, we do have qualifying underway. And it's hopefully going to be a really, really exciting qualifying session as the cars start to head out.
Yeah, it certainly, hopefully will be. And, I mean, we've got quite a few cars out already in this qualifying session. And the first one round does seem like it is going to be one of the Korsman brothers. And it looks like it is going to be Jelti Korsman to be the first driver to set a lap time in this session, and this could be a very crucial lap around a circuit like Spain. Very easy to invalidate, as I say in so many races in the past. It is only a banker, yes it is, but it's still one of the most crucial laps in your qualifying session. This opening lap, it really sets the rhythm of how the rest of your session is going to go. So Jelti Korsman opening up the DRS as he now heads down into turn 1, braking at about 75 meters, getting the car turned in a bit too much of the inside apex curb, you would think there, understeering him wide through turn 2, and now into the long right hand of return 3. It's flat out, and you just mainly focus on getting a good exit to get a good run into turn 4, braking at 50 meters down to 5th gear. Try to use the natural understeer to get as wide as you possibly can for the exit to then put yourself in to turn 5. Very tricky corner exit, easy to invalidate, but Jelti Korsman navigates it with no worries. Now in to 7 and 8, this chicane, nicely done there from Jelti Korsman, using a lot of the as much of the track as he possibly can through turn 9, flat out through there. DRS open, now into turn 10, a very tricky corner. Now it's been changed since 2022, and it's very nicely done there from Jelti Korsman, using all the understeer, natural understeer he possibly can to give him the best run through turn 11. Now a bit of a slide on the exit, now into turns 13 and 14, sorry, and up to the line. What would this be for Jelti Korsman? And it's going to be a 1 minute 10.819. Not too bad of a lap time there from Jelti Korsman, and could certainly be a lap that could be up there for, I would say, quite a while in this session, as T.S. Korsman goes into 2nd place and Menno goes into 3rd.
Absolutely. So now we see Alessandro Finn also make his way to the top of the table. But let's hear from your championship leader as he talked to us about how he's going to try and maintain his position in the title race at the front of the field.
So this weekend, I want to be looking for some good points, keep the championship lead, because I'm not all too confident on Spain for now, but I think the last 2 or the last 3 tracks suit me quite well. So I think if I can hold on to the championship lead this race, I can hold my own for the last 3 rounds and win the championship. I mean, it's mostly about winning from Felipe Sousa, but I think we can't count out Zach Miles and Keanu as well. Yeah, I think I didn't have much preparation for this race because of Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff, but I think going forward I can prepare a lot more for the races and make sure we take the championship home.
Great to hear from your championship leader as he comes into the pit lane. In the meantime, we were able to see Keanu Litard go to the top of the table. And as we mentioned, a very strong driver when it comes to qualifying. But let's see if this is going to be the race where he's able to convert it into victory. 2 times on pole. He tries to make it 3 today. And right now, as it stands, he's on provisional pole.
Yeah, this could be a crucial session here for Keanu and a crucial race weekend. You would think for him as well, because if he gets another pole position, he's going to need to back that up with a race win. So it's going to be all down on Keanu's shoulders today. And I mean, if he does get that race win, it will be so nice to have, because after having 2 pole positions and not being able to back them both up with race wins, it does take a toll on the driver mentally, and they'd think, I need to up this race pace, but how do I do that? So it's going to be an interesting one to see how Keanu does face this race if he does get pole position. And overall, he needs to back this up, or these pole positions will just keep meaning nothing, because the more he doesn't convert, the less confident he'll be at converting those chances. So, as I say, Keanu, very important evening here for him in F5.
Yep, important evening indeed, and you'll need those points as well in the championship battle. Every single point the drivers can gain is going to be really crucial, because it's been close this season so far, and it will continue to as well. So there's no obviously he's even if he keeps taking pole, it's not really going to make too much of a difference for him as well, if he's not going to be able to convert it into victories, as you said. So that's definitely going to be his goal, to try convert it into victory as well. Alessandro Finn currently sitting in 2nd position. He is also looking for his first pole position of the season, so we'll see how he is able to do. But however, it is a very long run to the first corner, so not always the track where you want to take the pole position, because it can change when we get down to turn 1, because it's a very long run down there.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, whoever's on pole position is going to be on the outside as well, heading down into turn 1 if they get a second on the grid, really. So if anything, you either want to be 3rd or 2nd on the grid here, because you can get that slipstream and then go down the inside on the pole sitter. So that's going to be another big factor as well, and also how drivers manage this race, how the leader manages, because there is many overtaking opportunities around here. Of course, heading down to turn 1, you could even say heading into turn 4 and then into turn 10 as well are 2 other big overtaking opportunities, and that could really affect how this race plays out. For whatever position you're in, it's just going to be about managing the gaps, managing the tyres, managing the battery. Most importantly, this track very difficult to regen battery if you use too much of it. So it's going to be a circuit where it's going to come down to driver performance. It's not really going to be too much about the car, but how the driver is able to manage their battery, their fuel, their tyres. All of that is going to be the big deciding factor of who wins today. And we'll see who can come out on top, as Socko is starting a run here in his McLaren, down in 7th place at the moment on equal lap times at the moment with Keanu's teammate Tristan. So as he heads into turn 4 now, he's down in his first sector, but what else can he do through the second and final part of this qualifying lap?
Yep, going to be really interesting to see. We saw Snake, who went up into 13th position as well. And he'll be hoping that he can qualify well to finish well, his best race finishing position is 6th so far this season, so he'll be hoping to upgrade that, as well as many drivers will, as Soccer still down by around half a tenth of a second. So let's see if he's going to be able to find anything in the last sector. So we've obviously got rid of that chicane, and it means that you're foot to the floor all the way through, and he knows that he wasn't finding the time that he would have wanted to, so it's a trip straight back to the pit lane for him, as well as we now do see them, as we now see Julian, who's been able to get up into 3rd, so a good lap there by Julian.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I mean, Julian, again, this could be a good race for some drivers that might not have been up there so far this season, and overall, this is a circuit which might benefit others because it is very natural understeer based, and if a driver likes understeer, this circuit will suit them to a T. And if you're into your more oversteery setups where this circuit you can't really have, because there's so many key traction points around this track, and if you get one kick of the rear, it could be the difference between you being in the race for the win or spinning around and dropping down into the mid-pack. So this circuit could benefit drivers that like their understeer, like having longer corners and having to just wait to get on the throttle, and that could really be the difference. Again, as I say, between a driver winning or losing this race is all in all just the characteristics of the circuit, because this circuit, it's so challenging as well on penalties, so it's easy to pick up warnings by running a tiny bit wide. Easy to do that, especially on the exit of turn 9 with that dirty air. So we just got to wait and see what happens, as a lot of drivers are now going to be coming into the pit lane. Tristan is on his lap. He's coming to the line now, and he's Aston Martin, and he actually invalidated that one, but still managed to improve. So that could be good signs heading on to his final runs of the session. Mino is on the lap now as he's heading through the final corner. Will he be able to improve into the top 10? DRS open for the McLaren, and up to 8th place goes Mino there, beating his teammate Socko and Zach Miles as well in the process. But it's still very close throughout the field. I mean, if you look from Julian all the way down to about Felipe Salsa, that is just over really a 1/10 of a second separating them. And now Kryzix goes up into 2nd place as well. So as I say, this could certainly be an evening where some drivers might surprise us.
Absolutely. Materia is making his way now through to the end of that, to the end of the lap, but he's going to be diving it into the pit. So that's so he's struggled on this lap, so he's going to come into the pit and go again. But he is definitely going to be chasing a victory. And we spoke to him earlier about what circuits he's looking forward to and his thoughts on the circuits. And let's see then. Let's hear from him and see what he had to say.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this race. To be honest, I just hope it's gonna be a clean race, because in the last few races, or I mean in the whole championship, from the start it has been some pretty chaotic races with so many crashes, and some bad luck in some circumstances, like the last race in Singapore, where the game crashed, where it could have got an easy top 5 because I had much fresher tires than the guys in front of me. So yeah, this track, I feel like it's an okay track for me. There are better and also worse tracks than Spain, and for this race, I'm just hoping to have a clean race, to be consistent, and then I think the results will come from itself then. And then looking onto the final rounds, we'll just try to keep the momentum going, even though I don't know how much time I'm gonna have to practice for those races, but yeah, I'm gonna try to keep the momentum going for the last 4 rounds of this championship.
Great to hear from Mattia Ria. His teammate is making his way through. Victor Vidler is in second position. Kryzik's in third. Alessandro Finn comes over the line, and now he goes into third position. So it's really, really looking close right now at the top of the table. But still, Keanu Litard untroubled as he's right now in the pit lane, but he'll be making his way out as well. Many other drivers as well to get ready for their final runs.
Yeah, they certainly will, and it was a decent lap time there as well from Victor Riddler to go up to second place, and Alessandro Finn wasn't able to get back into second, but third place, still good momentum to build off for this final run. We'll need to get into the pit lane rather quickly to get the car turned around, get a fresh set of tyres on the car, and then go out once more. But with Keanu as well, if there is a late safety car in the race, he has now saved himself a set of the soft compound tyres, so that's going to be good for his strategy if there is a late safety car, because it won't affect him too much. But we will see drivers out on the circuit shortly, and the championship leader is actually going to be one of the only drivers out on the circuit. T.S. Korsman going to be the first person to set their final runs of the session. Everyone will be coming out probably in the next 15 to 20 seconds or so, but T.S. Korsman been quite a disappointing qualifying so far, down in 14th place with a 1 minute 10.815, so still plenty of time to find in this one, but the question is, can he find it, and also, where is that time?
Absolutely. And when I was having a chat with him earlier on, he really did say that he might not be that he's not really had the best of preparation, but that really goes for most of the drivers due to obviously Christmas and New Year, spending time with family as well. But Tyres Quads are not being able to really have too much practice for this round. So let's see how he's going to be able to do on this lap then as he makes his way through the final corner, and he'll need to score some good points in the race. So I'm sure he wants to start well, and especially not too much in the chaos as well, as everyone's heading out onto the circuit, so he might get a bit impeded on this lap here as he makes his way through turn number 1.
Yeah, it's going to be, he's got to keep really focused on this lap. There's going to be cars all over the circuit, just moving out the way. That was an Aston Martin, and now he's got an Alpine in front of him, so this lap could be hindered by traffic. He's still up in that first sector by about half a tenth, but yeah, it's going to be really difficult to stay focused. Might have been a bit distracted through the first two corners, just trying to see where cars are placing themselves to try to get out the way of your championship leader, but he's got a clearish run up into turn 9, you would think, as the McLaren moves out the way quite nicely, and he's got then 3 more cars to navigate through the turn 10, 11 and 12 complex. His teammate, Yeltsin Korsman, his brother, just about gets out the way. That could have distracted Tiers slightly more, and AlphaTauri on the edge of the road, and now Tiers a bit wide through turn 12. That could affect his run into 13 and 14. A big slide as well to boot, but he actually comes into the pit lane, so coming out early has actually hindered Tiers Korsman, and unfortunately for him, the best he's going to get in this qualifying session is 14th, and your championship leader struggling in this qualifying session.
Absolutely, and surely with drivers behind who are going to be looking for some improvements as well. So he could really be in trouble there. I can confirm we'll be getting a lobby restart after this as well, due to a penalty that was picked up by Victor Vidler. I saw on the screen earlier on as well while we were hearing from Tyres Korsman. So that's definitely not what Tyres Korsman wanted, but Keanu Litard now begins a lap, and he's got so much confidence right now in the car. He didn't even have to come out for a second run. That's the advantage he had, and he's now going to try and extend it. But let's see if anyone's going to be able to get close to him as he makes his way through turn number 3. Pinned to the floor, as now he'll be making his way down towards turn number 4. We'll see what the first sector time is looking like, and he's down. So Keanu Litard down by 6 hundredths of a second, and let's see then if Victor Riddler is going to be able to find anything. There'll surely be drivers who will be pushing on as well. Alessandro Finn, checkered flag is out at the end of the qualifying session. Menno's going to be in the pit, so he could be under pressure. You can see Tyres Korsman now has dropped down to 15th place as we make our way to Exafox. Finds his way all the way to the front row. That's a great lap time by him. Jelty Korsman is going to be in 8th position. Socko makes his way up into 4th, and now we're going to be getting the Mercedes over the line, and it's not Victor Riddler, so it must be Felipe Souza who's in 11th position. So the man second in the championship in 11th, so that's not the best either for him, but luckily he's only got we now see Keanu Litard make his way through the last corner. Still doesn't look like he's finding an improvement, and that hasn't changed in the last sector of the lap. Extra Fox in second, Victor Riddler over the line, he is in third. Alessandro Finn, then Julian goes to the top. Great lap by Julian in the Ferrari as he chases his first pole position of the season. Can Alessandro Finn do anything at the end to take it away? He comes over the line, he can't find an improvement, but Ferraris have been very good at bringing shocks in qualifying so far this season, and it looks like Julian has been able to take it away as Keanu Litard wasn't able to find a lap time. We'll wait for the rest of the drivers to come over the line though, as we now watch Mattia Ria, he has backed off, Tristan's backed off as well, so it looks like that is going to be the end of qualifying. And what a lap time by Julian as he brings it out, and his teammate will start in 18th, but Julian now gets pole position. He'll have Keanu Litard though to contend with into the very long run to the first corner.
Brilliant lap time there from Julian. Pulled it out the bag when he needed to, and Keanu and the likes of Victor Riddler and Alessandro Finn just couldn't find the time they needed. Did not improve in that final run of the session, and it just really showed how strong Keanu was that he couldn't even beat his own lap time. But Julian, what a lap time from the Ferrari to steal it at the death. And I mean, it's going to be a difficult one to keep Keanu Litard behind, but with the pace he's just shown in qualifying, of course, we're going to have this now little gap to have the lobby restart for Victor Riddler's grid penalty. So these drivers are going to have to regain their focus, get back in, switch back on, and that could be crucial coming into this race. It's going to be a crucial one to see how these drivers switch back into the car and manage to get the speed that they once have. They're now in the rhythm and they're going to be out of it heading into the race. But brilliant lap time there from Julian. Thoroughly deserved pole position. And we did say Keanu and Extra Fox could be in the best position for this race start though.
Yep, they absolutely could. Now we're going to go quickly for a little break, and then we'll talk to you more about what's to come in the race while the lobby restart goes on. So, welcome back then here at Spain as we have a lobby restart, but that was really an interesting qualifying session, and as I mentioned, Ferrari's bringing shocks, and it's not the first time it's happened this season, because I remember in qualifying we've been having a Ferrari who has not been the best in the first or second run, and then just turns up all the way at the end in the third run. So it really has been great to see as well. And now as we see the lobby restart go on, as everyone will just retire in the lobby, and then we'll be able to stay in the same lobby, get the grid sorted, and go racing as soon as possible for you. So stick with us as we now get everything ready. But now let's start at the start then. The run towards turn 1, as you mentioned, it's going to be a very long run down there, and that's why around the circuit pole isn't everything, just like similar to Mexico City as well. So the long run to the first corner is going to be very interesting, and then the strategy could be very interesting as well.
Yeah, it certainly could be, and I mean, that run down into turn 1, again, it's going to be crucial not only for the race leaders here, but also for everybody behind, because it narrows up so much, it pinches heading into turn 1 and through turn 2 that there could be some collisions behind. So if you're in that mid-pack, or just in the front of it, say about 6th, 7th position, you just need to keep your nose clean through there, because you could easily gain a few places with how it pinches up. Someone could easily spin round, and then you head up to turn 3 and it all widens up again. So it's going to be an opening lap where most drivers, you would think in the mid-pack, will just focus on keeping their nose clean, try gain the positions while they can, and then just go from there and then build off that race. Strategy as well, as you said, going to be a big one. It's going to be a hard medium, more than likely. So it'll be your usual strategy in the tyre front, but it's also going to be a race about tyre management and also setups as well, because as I said earlier, previously, that most drivers will probably thrive if they have an understeery setup, and that's because not only does it just benefit you around this circuit, but also on the tyre management wise as well. You can really overheat your tyres around here, especially your rear tyres, and also just keep having those kicks out of the rear end, especially through the likes of turn 5 and through turn 10, where there's such crucial and tricky traction points that could really ruin your race. You could be earning so much more wear on your tyres than the drivers around you, that you could go from being in the battle for the win to trying to keep a top 5 finish in the end. So it's going to be a race all about strategy, all about getting the moves done when you need to, and keeping your nose clean on that opening lap.
Yep, absolutely as well. So cannot wait to see how it all goes. But you'll pulse it up. Julian hasn't also taken a victory this season, so you know it can continue the streak as well. And Keanu Leotard hasn't taken a victory either, so it's looking really, really good right now if we are going to continue that streak. And I really, really do want to continue that streak as well, as it's just phenomenal how we've still not had one repeat winner this season, and the 2 drivers on the front row are still also yet to chase their first victory. So it's going to be really, really an interesting race to see how it all is going to play out. But keeping your nose clean is going to be really, really crucial. And then also with how the drivers cope after the lap 1. Hopefully they don't, they're all going to be hoping they don't lose too many positions as well, especially if you don't get the best off start, and then trying to regain them in a clean way, because you also don't want to lose the DRS at the same time, because if you were to lose the DRS, then it's just going to mean you guys keep falling further back, because then there's going to be more of a battle every single lap, and then it obviously removes any chance of you guys fighting with the undercuts with the drivers ahead as well. So that's going to be another crucial, that's also going to be really, really crucial, only making the moves when they're really there, and possibly not risking it into like braking zones where you both could lose the 1 second to the car ahead.
Yeah, that certainly is going to be another big part of this race, is keeping within that DRS, because also, as I said, battery's very hard to gain once you burn it, and being without that without DRS going to make it an even tougher challenge. So keeping with that DRS is going to be so crucial for these drivers. So yes, you have to take it cautious on that one, but you have to make sure by the start of lap 3 you're still within that DRS, because it's so crucial to be around a circuit like this within DRS, because if you don't have it down the main straight and you have a train of cars behind you, they're all just going to come sailing past, because it's such a long straight. So that's another big issue for the drivers to manage today, and it's going to be an interesting fight at the top. Of course, neither Keanu, Julian or Exafot I think have a win this season, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens up at the front, but also at the back, because you do have second place in the championship, Felipe, down in 11th, and then you also have Tiers Korsman down in 16th as well. So again, you've got 2 completely different stories up at the top and the end of the field, that you could see some drivers fighting their way through the order, and we could be in for an absolutely amazing race this evening, as the lobby is about 30 seconds away from getting into the main race session. But yeah, we got 2 completely different stories at both ends of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And after taking a look at it, it seems like the majority of the drivers at the front haven't taken a win. So that's how mixed up right now it is as well. So I cannot wait to see how this one is going to play out, as we will get into the lobby. But great stuff there by Julian. But now the question is, can he try maintain it? He'll need to hope for a poor getaway by Keanu Leotard, and then the battle goes on for second, which is possible. But he'll need to just absolutely stretch clear, because they're all going to be using the ERS, dumping it down there in the slipstream. So so I think he'll definitely be challenged a tiny bit at least down into the first corner. But he'll hopefully be what he'll be hoping is that he's able to come over to the inside line, just to make sure that no one is able to get that inside line. And then we'll see if anyone's going to brave it out all the way around the outside. So that will be incredibly interesting to see as well. So I cannot wait for this one to get underway. And I think it's going to be action-packed all the way from the start to the end. In my opinion, Austria was the best race of the season. So let's see if Spain's going to be able to topple that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And around a circuit like Spain, it does provide dull races in real life, but on this game, it can provide absolute classics and should be underway probably in the next 2 or 3 minutes or so. It seems that a lot of the drivers are going to be selecting the hard compounded tyres, which I would expect because, of course, this circuit is more predominantly known for a hard medium strategy just due to the nature of the tyre wear. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who plays what card into turn 1. Does Keanu decide to tuck into the slipstream of Julian and then try hold it round the outside of the Ferrari? That could be an option for him, or just go straight down the inside. Again, it's all up to how this start plays out as we're about to get underway, Omi, so take us away.
Here we go then. 5 red lights are on. Lights out for the Spanish Grand Prix, and it is a good reaction time for Julian, who will leave pole position, but he will have Keanu Leetard, who might be no, he's not going to have a chance down to turn number 1. You can see Socko looking for a way through an Exafox, who's going to hold his position. Tyus Korsman in the background trying to fight his way through as well. It's Exafox who moves up to 2nd position. Keanu Leetard drops down to 3rd. It's Victor Ridler in 4th position. Are they all going to be able to make their way through turn number 3? It seems like they will, but great start by Julian, exactly what he wanted, as Victor Ridler tries to have a go down the inside. You can see Kryzik's battling away there with Alessandro Finn, and Zerky is in there as well with Dustin, and we're going 3 wide with a very late lunge by Dustin, who somehow manages to fight his way through, and Felipe Sauz is also looking for the inside line. It's an absolute brawl on the opening lap. We expected nothing less, but Julian holds the lead.
Yeah, brilliant start there from Julian. Actually onto the soft compounded tyres for the Ferrari. A lot of the drivers going on the softs. That's a spinning Aston Martin in the back, and that's Tristan Round losing a bit of his front wing as well to boot as in that situation as well. Tiers Korsman up to 14th. Yelty Korsman dropping all the way back to 16th. And actually, no, I think it was Snake's front wing end plate that did fall off when Tristan spun, but a good mix of strategies here for the drivers as Mattia pulls into the pit lane as well. But a lot of soft tyre runners, a few hard tyres, and only one medium tyre runner of Alessandro Finn, who's down to 10th place, and he's trying to get past Mino, and that's Zachary round the outside of the Red Bull. The Alpine getting the move done very nicely round the outside on those soft compounded tyres. But a very big mix of strategies here on me as Marco looking to the inside of Alessandro Finn.
Oh, Victor Ridler's round!
And Victor Ridler rounds in turn 3, and that's going to be crucial for his race. He's luckily still got most of his front wing, as that's also Socko round on the inside of turn 5. It's all kicking off here on lap 2. We've still got another 31 laps to go in this race, and drivers already spinning round. And for Victor Ridler, being on those soft tyres, that is really going to affect his strategy.
Yeah, looks like they might have been going side by side. Talking about them side by side, Menno up the inside line. We've got Zach Miles up against Alessandro Finn, and Alessandro Finn from the attack to the defense, and the defense wasn't successful. Neither was the attack, as Tyus Coulson fights his way through as well, and Alessandro Finn on those medium compound of tyres. But yeah, a lot of different strategies causing all of these battles, and a lot of side by side through parts of the circuit where you usually don't see it, causing a lot of contact as well. As we see now, Hassett up alongside Alessandro Finn, but not for too much longer, because he's already moving ahead as Felipe Souza is fighting his way through, and it might have been a late lunge by Alessandro Finn to try fight back on Hassett, but it doesn't look like he was able to fight back as well. But on lap 3, now DRS is going to get enabled, but Julian has been able to pull a gap while the other soft tyres are still battling amongst the hard drivers.
Yeah, it's been a horrid start for both Socko and Alessandro Finn, down 7 and 10 places respectively. And it's been a brilliant start for the likes of Marco in the Ferrari, and also Felipe as well, up 9 and 7th places. Tias Korsman's had a good start, he's up 5. So these soft tyre runners have gambled on the start of this race here, as that's a big slide in front of Marco for the Alpine, and there's going to be maybe a lunge to the inside into turn 10. We've also got Dustin versus Mino as well, but the Alpine goes deep and Marco goes through. Up into 8th place goes the Ferrari. Mino managed to get past Dustin there for 5th place as well. His next target is going to be Felipe Sousa in 4th place, but Second down to fourth is still hard tyre runners. You would think they will slowly be eaten into the gap between them and the soft runners as Kryzik's get past Dustin now as he moves to the inside. We've also got Zach Miles trying to get past Sakurai into turn one as well. The Alfa Romeo around the outside of the Alpine can't get the move done. But a lot of battles going on here early, mainly due to the fact these hard tyre runners are sort of like a cork in the bottle for the soft tyre runners behind them. But give it a few laps or so and the tide will shift and it will become the soft tyre runners under threat from everybody on the hardest. Marco on the inside of Dustin. A brilliant late lunge there from the Ferrari to get past the Haas. Both, of course, Ferrari powered, and now up into 7th place goes Marco. He's got Cry6 in front of him, and he'll probably want to get past the higher tyre runner and use as much of his soft tyres as he possibly can.
Marco not waiting around at all, immediately going for the incredibly late lunge, and he was able to make it work, and now he's going to try and do the overtakes because as I mentioned, he's not waiting around at all. He wants to get the moves done, and he's been able to get past Dustin, who's also on the softs, but maybe not being able to make the overtakes at the speed that Marco wants to do them as well. As we're onto the straight, DRS open once again. We saw Keanu Litard get past Exafox on the last lap. On this lap, it's a bit of a squeeze, it's a bit of a move off the racing line for Keanu Litard, but Exafox is able to make his way through in a straight line past as well. Kryzik's looking for a move. Zach Miles up the inside line, and they're battling, and Dustin's gone off the road, and he's going to have to rejoin the road, but that was incredibly close, and is Tyus Korsman going to be able to keep it? It looks like he might have had a bit of a snap, and Dustin is out of the race. Dustin is out of the race, and so is the full course safety car. But Tyus Korsman, we were on board with him, and it looked like he almost lost the car there.
Yeah, he did. He had a big snap heading into turn 3, and that caused Dustin to try take avoiding action just due to the amount of overspeed he had to the Williams car in front, causing him to just slightly go offline, drop the rear, and then he tried correcting it, but it goes straight on into the barrier at turn 3. But this plays into the soft tyre runners' hands as they could maybe box onto the hard compound tyres. Could be a bit of a push, maybe even do a medium in this case. For their race strategy, but the hard tyre runners, they wouldn't want a safety car this early at all, because this really does affect how their strategy now plays out, because as I say, these soft tyre runners can just get rid of these soft compound tyres, go onto a set of the hards or the mediums, up to their choice. As Julian is into the pit lane, actually Exafox, Keanu, Felipe all join him as well, so we could maybe see everybody on a medium. Exafox picking up a 5-second time penalty. That could be crucial come the end of this race. But yeah, unfortunate there for Dustin. Got forced wide by contact with him and Zach Miles. Rejoined the circuit, and Tyus Korsman dropping it in front of him. And nowhere for him to go. Had to correct the slide and straight off into the outside barrier. And a lot of these drivers looking like to be heading onto the medium compound tyres.
Yeah, wish me luck with the highlights for next week, because we're only on lap number 6, and the amount of chaos and action we've had is absolutely unbelievable there. But yeah, Dustin, the first retirement of this race. And when I was speaking with a lot of the drivers earlier on, they said they didn't want really a lot of crashes and all that, and it seems like we're immediately getting quite a bit of chaos, as well as a lot of drivers on different strategies, as we've already mentioned, all going for moves. And Exafox, unfortunately there, as you mentioned, picking up the 5-second time penalty, and with how close everyone is going to be, if this time they decide to follow each other and there's and gaps don't start to form, then it's going to hurt Exafox as well with this 5-second penalty, especially with how close the field could be. But we're going to get a lot of action on the restart for sure, as drivers try to make some moves.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be crucial, this restart, especially with now pretty much everybody being on a similar strategy. It is looking like it is going to be a medium, or even a medium soft for these drivers here today. So these are now crucial moves. They are, instead of being just for track position, these could simply be race-defining overtakes that they need to make on this safety car restart. And with Alessandro Finn staying out as well, that will add another element, because he is on older tyres. and 5-lap older tyres compared to the fresh tyres, that's a huge difference. So expect maybe Alessandro Finn to maybe fall down the pack slightly like what he did at the start of the race, but could come back come the end of this Grand Prix. So again, we're just going to have to wait and see how these drivers take it, how aggressive they want to be, especially for the likes of Felipe and also Tias Korsman as well, because of course they're in the championship battle and it's only 8 points separating them, so they still need to be on their A game, make sure they keep getting the points that they need consistently. And yeah, we're going to be in for a very dramatic safety car restart, I think, especially with some of these drivers also being on the hard compounder tyres alongside these medium runners.
Yeah, absolutely. As well, as you can see, it is only the safety car, but all of them starting in the back to get next to each other with the front and rear tyre up there as well. So all of them getting ready to go back to green flag racing conditions. Absolutely everyone has catched up now, so we are going to hopefully be getting the safety car in at the end of this lap, and we'll be going back to green flag racing conditions. And Exafox, what he's going to want to try and do is do exactly what Julian was able to do, and quickly, well, Exafox will have to make 2 moves, but let's see if he's how quickly he can do it. Once he gets past Julian, he should be able to get past Alessandro Finn, but he's going to have to try and do what Julian did and just pull away after he's made the overtakes.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needs to do, and pulling away is going to be his only option around a circuit like this, because if they're within DRS when it opens, it's going to be extremely difficult to break out of it. So Alessandro Finn will lead us away from this safety car restart. He'll just try his best to keep this pack behind, because he's surely going to get overtaken, especially by Exafox, you would think, on that soft compound tyres. But look how slow the Red Bull is crawling through turn 12, going at a snail's pace. Not even fast enough to be on the motorway as it stands, but trying to just maybe catch Julian and Exafox napping. But now heading through turn 13, he goes now, does the Red Bull, and we're go racing once more with Alessandro Finn leading the way with Julian hot on his heels. The battery being used by the Ferrari driver. He pulls to the inside line. Will he get the move done before the braking zone? It is looking likely. He will just have to confirm it on the brakes. Alessandro Finn trying to hold it around the outside. The medium tyre runner falls just short of holding on to first place. It's now Exafox goes round the outside through turn 3. He'll be the outside for turn 4 once more as well. Julian kind of boxing him in, but with that superior grip difference, Exafox moves up into second place. And now Keanu trying to get past Alessandro Finn. It could be 3 places lost in 5 corners. Contact made between the pair. Rubbing is racing, as Dale Earnhardt would say, as we go round the outside of Alessandro Finn. Keanu Leotardo, a really good move there. And you can see the tyre life difference. Felipe now trying to go round the outside of Alessandro Finn. He runs a bit wide, but still gets it done. Here comes Mino and Crysis. There's a little bit of contact made there. It's going to be 3 wide heading into turn 10. And the McLaren can't get the move done on the Red Bull just yet. Gets the switchback. It's going to be 3 wide once more. Oh, and there's big contact between Mino and Zach Miles. They're both off the road. And unfortunately for them, 3 into 1 does not go. And they both lose their front wing. A dramatic restart as Exafox into the pit lane, as it's another safety car in this Grand Prix, and we've only just got back underway.
Oh, we didn't survive for too long there. Already back to a safety car. It does say virtual safety car on there, but we can see the dot, and we can now see just ahead of us the safety car driving out and is making their way through, and you can see it's now updated on the graphic as well. But yeah, chaos, absolute chaos to the mid-pack, and the drivers going all in to make these overtakes. 3 wide at really across the whole circuit in different positions, all of them battling, and Alessandro Finn really dropping down, and that was frantic, as it has been all race. And I think this race, especially when many of the drivers did say they didn't really when most drivers really said they didn't really want many crashes, we are getting probably the most crashes that we've got this season. And I'm thinking about it. I think yeah, in this race alone, so far in the 9 laps, I think we've got the most crashes of the entire season in one race, and we've still got many more laps to go as well.
Yeah, I mean, these drivers are very well behaved usually, and I mean, it's just how it went there with just the tyre difference, because around a circuit like Spain, and also with Alessandro Finn just getting in closer and closer to Mino, that neither him or Zach had anywhere to go really heading into turn 12, and of course the inevitable happened where contact was made. So again, another incident where, to be honest, the drivers that crashed weren't really at fault for that one. I mean, it was a bit opportunistic for Zach to try and make it 3 wide into there, but he had every right to. I mean, it doesn't narrow up too much heading into turn 12, and he was expecting maybe some room from the McLaren of Mino. Of course, couldn't maybe see Alessandro Finn on the outside as well. So, again, just an unfortunate incident. Luckily for these two, they're not out of this race. They're still in it, and they're still with a good shout of maybe scoring some points. Of course, we've got a long way to go still in this one. Alessandro Finn actually stayed out in that safety car period. I thought he would have maybe come in for a set of the hard compounder tyres, but decides to stay out a bit longer. Again, on those older medium tyres, that, of course, will maybe cause that bottleneck again, and we could maybe see more carnage and him dropping down the order even more. So again, we're just gonna have to wait and see how the safety car plays out, and hopefully we get it as dramatic as last time, but without that big crash near the end of the lap.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we want. We want the action to continue. We want the battling for the lead to continue. We want all of the wheel-to-wheel action. But maybe just not that crash that we got at the end, because I think we've had enough crashing for one race as well. So, Julian now back in the lead of this one. He'll have Keanu Litard, though, on those medium compound of tyres, who will now be going on the attack. Felipe Salza will be in there as well. So now Julian absolutely aced the race start. Now he's going to obviously have a rolling start to contend with. And both of these drivers, as we mentioned, chasing their first victory of the season. Felipe Salza has stood there. He won the race at Monza as well, dominated the race at Monza while it was absolute chaos absolutely everywhere as well. At the final corner where we had that massive crash and there was cars spinning left, right, the safety car is coming into the pit lane, so Julian will be taking us back to green flag racing conditions, and this time we're going to be, let's see if we're going to get something similar with Keanu Litard. With the fresher tyres, who will be going on the attack. You can see Julian slowing them up once again, just like we saw the Red Bull doing on the last restart. And now the question is, when does Julian go through the last corner? And you can see he's slowing them up, so he's going to try and get the jump. And let's see if Keanu Litard will be able to stick with him all the way through the last corner and put some pressure on down towards turn number 1. The Scarlet Ferrari right now in the lead. Let's see if he'll remain in the lead when we exit through the first corner. And Julian leaving it late. When is he about to go? All of them queuing up now, and we're about to go back to green flag racing conditions. You can see the Ferrari now takes us back to green flag racing conditions. Keanu Litard is going to be in the wheel tracks, and he will try and fight back down towards turn number 1. 2/10 as they come over the line, and the Aston Martin driver getting closer and closer, but it doesn't look like he'll be close enough to make a move. The overtaking on Alessandro Finn continues as Zerky tries to make a move, and Tyres Korsman is in there as well. He's got to try and keep his nose clean. Alessandro Finn has been overtaken, and Danny Coe's getting past as well. Keanu Litard takes the lead. Round the outside line he goes. He's going to get the inside line now, and he's going to take the position. Can Felipe Salza fight his way through around the outside line? On the brakes he goes. Can he do what we saw earlier on in the broadcast with the action zones? And he's going to try and go around the outside. Surely he's going to back out there, but continuing to lose positions is Alessandro Finn, who finds himself down in 11th, and now next to his teammate who's battling away with Snake. And we have Marco in the Ferrari going all the way around the outside, and Snake has to concede that position as Felipe Salza continues to go on the attack on Julian.
Yeah, another dramatic start to this race as Alessandro Finn against his teammate. Surely he's got to let his teammate by here. He's got no pace on those medium compounded tyres, but Alessandro Finn electing to stay ahead for now. But wow, Keanu Litard, what a move for him. There is Yelty Korsman in 9th place. You also have Tiers Korsman, a really good restart for him. Jumped up quite a few places. He's now up into 6th, and now Felipe to the inside of the Scarlet Ferrari. He manages to get past Julian. Of course, Julian probably might be looking to go to near, or if not the end of the race here, and will not have to make another stop, where the likes of Keanu and Felipe will have to make another stop in this race. Alessandro Finn dropping down more and more as now Hazif to the inside of the Red Bull driver, allows Exafox through as well. Exafox certainly going to go to the end of this one on his hard compound tyres. But I feel like Alessandro Finn has shot himself in the foot slightly here with not coming into the pit lane for a set of the hard compound tyres on that second safety car, because now he is dropping down the order and he'll have to make a pit stop in green flag conditions unless we get a safety car. By the time his pit window comes out, he goes wide through turn 9. This could allow Socko to try and make a move into turn 10. But the McLaren just has to sit behind, and also his teammate getting all over the back of him, with Zach Miles putting a lot of pressure on Mino. This is all over. 15th place, everybody, and they're racing very, very hard for every position they can get as DRS is enabled, and Keanu not able to break out a DRS from Felipe just yet, so it's going to be a really tricky task for him to do it for the rest of this race.
Absolutely. The overtaking continues down the main straight as well. And now we see all the way around the outside. Soccer will try go. Can the other McLaren follow through as well? One's gone through. Here comes the other one now. All the way around the outside line. And it looks like he's going to be able to make the move. Zach Miles also arrives on the scene. He will go around the outside. Can he also get past the McLaren maybe? Is he going to keep his foot in and try and go all the way around the outside? Exafox is now going to go around the outside of Mattia. They're going to now go side by side, and better traction will belong to the AlphaTauri man as the McLaren still do battle in the background. Menno has the fresher compound of tyres, but he still does not have the position on its teammate, who's all out of shape, and now Menno's risking it to the inside line. Is he going to get the position? Yes, he is, and he's going to take that place, and Zach Miles is going to go through. So the two McLarens costing each other there as well with the side by side. And it is Menno in 15th, Zach Miles in 16th, and Soccer in 17th. And as you mentioned, all of them battling like crazy here at the back of the field, but they're also doing the same at the front. But it looks like they've just calmed down a tiny bit now as with the DRS. They all now start to get in a bit of a rhythm.
Yeah, this is going to be the real big rhythm part of the race, and just a little bit of follow the leader up in front as Hazif gets past Marco there, and so does Exafox. He also gets past the Ferrari of Marco. So both Ferraris on lap 8 lap old hards, falling down the order slightly from where they did their safety car restart from. But I mean, this is now just going to be the big deciding point in this race. It's going to be all about strategy now, DRS, and just really focusing on tyre management until really about lap 28 to 29. That's when you really start to unleash it really, and just not really care what happens about your tyre wear and just push to the limit. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a game of follow the leader, build up that battery, help the tyres just to sit in their window. Keanu is really the lucky one in this train so far. He's not got any dirty air in front to really affect his tyres as much as the likes of Felipe behind, but still, it's going to be a long race to go. Lap 14 of 33, all these medium runners you would think will have to make another stop, so the likes of Julian, Exafox, and Victor Riddler will all have to come into the can all stay out to the end as Tias Korsman getting past the Alpine. Very nicely done there from the Williams driver, your championship leader, starting from I think 17th on the 16th on the grid, sorry, all the way up now into 5th place. A really good drive, and a champion's drive you would think from the Williams driver.
Absolutely. And that's what's and if he is going to be the champion when we get to the business end right at the end of the championship, then obviously these performances really going to be helping him right now. And with a bad qualifying, there's been a bit of chaos. He's taken advantage, and he's just kept his foot in, making the moves, and is now getting back to the positions that he wants to be in, to be scoring those consistent points as well. And he will now try and go on the attack of Cryzix, who currently sits in 4th position, as well as we now have Julian on a bit of a different strategy. He's got the hard compound of tyres compared to everyone who has the mediums, but right now he's just sticking well in there with these guys in the DRS, just sticking well, because it'll start to come to him later on as well as they make their way now onto lap number 16.
Yeah, it's going to, as I say, it's just going to be a crucial part of this race, especially for the hard runners, just to keep with the drivers on the mediums. That's all they've really got to do. Is Hazif gets past Exafox, from the Haas driver. A bit of a poor exit though, out of turn number 2. Could maybe allow Fox to get a run into turn 4, but talk about moves into turn 4. Victor Riddler gets past the Alfa Romeo of Danico into turn 4. Nicely done there from the Mercedes on the inside and moves himself up into 7th place. But yeah, this is just going to be a big part of the race for these hard tyre runners. Keep up with the medium runners. That's all you've really got to do. And after you do that, you can easily try and make it to the end of the race. Or if not, maybe does happen.
Yep, absolutely. As well now, as we are going to see now, Exafox put some pressure on Hassett, and is he going to be able to try and find a way through as Hassett tries to get back inside the 1 second, the crucial 1 second. Keep an eye as well on JLT Korsman, because he is close to the back of Danico as they come over the line. Talking about close and talking about the battle for the lead, Felipe Salza goes to the inside line, gets the move done, and he takes the lead of this one. But Keanu Leetard staying close all the way to the back of the Mercedes, and he's going to try fight back. Is he about to fight back down to turn number 4? Not going to risk it at this stage of the race. If he just stays close, he'll have an opportunity to take that one back as well. But right now they're going to be jockeying for the lead, but he was able to take it as Menno is battling with Marco. Not for too long though. Menno's been able to make that move through turn number 4, and he is now ahead. But Felipe Salza, the winner from Monza, looking to now be the winner in Spain, but he still has a very long race to go if he wants to do it, and he's got absolutely everyone all the way down to 12th chasing him and trying to deny him that victory.
Yeah, that's certainly what they'll be trying to do. And Keanu, I mean, that could just be a positional play. Just try stick with the Mercedes. Maybe knows he's a bit quicker at some points in the circuit. Will maybe want to seize lines as Danico gets past Victor Rittler into turn 10. But what this could also do is maybe deploy a strategy element between this top two. And if they just keep switching places, it means they might actually be able to pull away from Julian behind. But around a circuit like this, it is really difficult because, of course, there's only 2 DRS zones, and the longest run is where you really find that time compared to the driver behind, as Victor Ritter once again gets past the Alfa Romeo of Danico into turn 1 this time. And these two seem to be swapping places for the fun of it, as Yelty Korsman dropping back. Tristan might be able to get a run into turn number 4, but no, just has to sit behind. Does the Aston Martin driver. But yeah, this is definitely just going to be a race of attrition and just sitting in the right spots as Keanu up in the lead now, past Felipe, and it's just going to be about how you manage your race. And I feel like this is going to be another race where you don't want to lead heading onto this final lap, because it is going to be easily taken away from you, as there is 2 DRS zones that you'll need to navigate, with 2 big, heavy braking overtaking opportunities that could come straight after those DRS zones.
Absolutely. If you are just joining us right now as well, we've had a very, very chaotic race so far. It's now calmed down because all of the drivers have been able to get into a rhythm. However, the action is going to continue very, very soon with some drivers now. Obviously, as we're going to get towards the end of the race, more moves will happen, and then right now it's a tactical game, but it'll definitely all start to switch around and it'll all start to get aggressive. So make sure you do stick with us in this one all the way till the end, and you obviously have the drivers at the back all doing battle and delivering you the action right now as you are watching, as we see Zach Miles to the inside of Mattia Ria, and Marco might be able to have a go there as well. You can see the Ferrari pushing the Red Bull driver through the corners, and is there going to be anyone going for a late lunge into turn number 5? Nope, they're all going to be following in a single file, but they're all right now close together, and these guys right now are going and also these guys aren't going to be now just sitting behind right now. They're going to be trying to make moves and get closer as well to the drivers in front. So these guys going all in right now to try and make overtakes. So there's still plenty of action going on the racetrack.
Yeah, there's still plenty of opportunities for these drivers at the back to score some points, as I just see Keanu have a huge slide coming out of turn 12, but there's still every opportunity to get some points for the likes of Menno and drivers like that. As we do see some of the medium runners finally coming to the pit lane. That's Yelty Korsman and Danico into the pit lane. Maybe an undercut there triggered by these two, so some drivers might have to react as Exafox gets past Tristan for 8th place on the road, manages to get the move done. very nicely there on the brakes round down the inside, and will now just try get back within that DRS of Victor Riddler, as of course Exafox on those hard compound tyres will be maybe looking to go to the end of this Grand Prix. Alessandro Finn's taken those mediums 19 laps and is still somewhat having keeping his car on the road. He is losing a second a lap to the likes of Marco and Mattia in front, so it's a bit of a struggle there if you want to go 19 laps on this medium compounder tyre. But that pit stop from both Danny and Yelty could cause a chain reaction here as Yelty to the inside of Danny. Contact made. A late lunge by the Williams as he now tries to put the power down and get into turn 7 ahead. And he does. The Williams ahead of the Alfa Romeo, but the Alfa Romeo gets a better run out of turn 8, up through turn 9 now. We'll have the DRS. Keanu's into the pit lane. He has reacted to the undercut from drivers behind, and a lot more coming into the pit lane now. That's Keanu, Kryzik, TS Korsman, and Zirokai into the pit lane. He gets a 5-second time penalty in his Alpine. But let's see where Yelty Korsman comes out in relation to even his brother in this pit stop window. As here we go, round the final corner comes Yelty Korsman. Where does Tiers Korsman end up coming out in the pit lane? As actually, I think he might have had to change his front wing there, did Tiers. So he's dropped a bunch of places, lost a bunch of time, and Tiers Korsman, the front wing change, might have cost him some valuable points in this race as he's coming out side by side with Socko, and Socko does get the place from the Williams driver behind him now.
A lot of work undone there as well for Tyus Korsman. Not what he wanted at all. He's going to have to go on the attack once again. Now he's behind his brother at this stage, as we did obviously see Keanu Litard make his way out onto the circuit. He's right now in 12th position. Then we have Kryzik in 13th, and Jelty Korsman getting very, very close onto the back of Zerky. Let's see if he can try pull a move. He can see the Alpine all out of shape, and that's going to be giving encouragement to Jelty Korsman. He's going to put a nose in there. That could be very, very close to contact, and it got really close. However, they were luckily able to keep the cars pointing in the right direction. Into the pits now comes Felipe Salza. Alessandro Finn, after a very long stint, also dives it into the pit lane as well. But these drivers all trying to make some moves, and at every single move they try and make, it's always getting really, really all the way to the edge.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, Yelty Korsman's still going to try look for that move. Felipe Salsa does come out just in front of Keanu Leotard and the Aston Martin, but he does have to warm up those tyres. So if Keanu wants to make the move, he needs to make it now into turn 3. But Felipe might defend that inside line. And Keanu not close enough for a move into turn 4, but might look for the run down into turn 5. Felipe might try to defend this one, but no. Keanu sitting behind once more, doesn't want to maybe lead this race just yet. Knows he can stick to the back of this Mercedes car in front, and of course, as I said earlier, might not want to lead until that final lap of the Grand Prix, heading down into turn 10. So Keanu through turn 9 now will have the DRS on lap 22 of 33 here, so not long left in this race to go, about 11 laps. And yeah, Keanu focusing on the future and not on the present, just wants to make sure he gets a good strategy here and manages to keep his tyres in a good window for that final lap, you would think, but he still will have to make it past all these hard runners trying to stay out. As Victor Riddler overtaken there by Exafox. Exafox, of course, was up in the lead of the race when the second safety car came out. He's now up into second place once more. He's got Julian in front of him. Yelty Korsman with the fastest lap of this Grand Prix of 1 minute 12.9. But now we see, can these hard runners make it to the end and hang on to these positions, or will the medium runners eventually make it back, as Keanu did get past Felipe there with the DRS? And will they be able to catch up to the likes of Julian and Exafox and overtake them as well? Because catching is one thing, overtaking is a completely different story. We're just going to have to stay tuned and wait and see.
Yes, it's going to be really, really interesting to see in this race how the strategy is going to play out all the way till the end. That's why you should stick with us all the way till the end of this race as well, because in F5 we don't know who is going to win, and it's been the case all season long. It's always exciting, it's always close, and it's close once again. Into the pits comes the Aston Martin off Tristan was the lead car right now at the moment. Obviously, as Keanu Litard dived it into the pits, but Keanu Litard will take that back over as he is now pushing on with Felipe Sales as well. And can these two with the DRS start overtaking each other to try help each other at this stage of the race to get closer as well? As you can see, Felipe Sales out of the slipstream and making his way through. And obviously, if these guys make easy moves like that just with the DRS, they could try and work together at this stage of the race to get closer. And then obviously later on, it'll be elbows out. But to give them both a chance of victory, they could right now work together. As you can see, they are doing with easy passes with the DRSs. They aren't losing any time, instead they're gaining.
Yeah, they certainly are, and this could be crucial for their race against the hard tyre runners. And I mean, they still have a lot of clean air in front of them. The closest car is Marco in the Ferrari in front, and that's 6.7 seconds. So this could be a really good strategy from them here. Of course, the likes of Menno and Hasif will probably have to come into the pit lane. Of course, won't really be able to take those tyres, those medium tyres, all the way to the end. They'll try to stick out as long as possible to get onto a set of the soft compound. But this could be really crucial here for Felipe and Keanu. Got all this clean air in front of them, can just push on into it, not really have to worry about overtaking too many cars and worry about losing places and also losing time to the cars in front. So Felipe and Keanu in a very nice place here, and also can just slipstream each other along. As here comes Keanu on the inside of Felipe, goes a bit deep into the corner, could affect his run out of it. But overall, I don't think these two would be bothered with maybe a tenth or so loss compared to the cars in front. All they care about is pushing on into this free air and getting as close as they possibly can to Julian before the end of this race.
Yeah, let us know your predictions as well in the live chat of how you think this one is going to end. So, we now have them all pushing on. You can see right now these two drivers will be pushing right now all the way to the edge of the circuit, trying to gain every single tenth they can, as well as they try and close the gap right now. But there is still battles at other parts right now of this racetrack. You can see Zerky up ahead of Kryzix, and then we have Jelty Korsman and Daniko in this train as well. And then obviously you have the train for second position right now in the race, and we're going to see a move by Victor Riddler. He's going to pull out of the slipstream and he will go back onto the racing line ahead and into second position. Let's see if these guys can, as we see Zach Miles getting his way past Menno, let's see if these guys can try and get themselves closer up to Julian. And Tristan says the fastest lap, and Felipe Salza, as expected, trades positions with Keanu Litard, and Kryzix gets past Zerky there as well. But now let's see in the battle for second position, as we have Soccer out of the race in the pit lane, so that won't make a difference. But let's see if we can see Victor, Riddler and Exafox maybe work together a bit to try and get themselves up to Julian, who they're on the same strategy as.
Yeah, certainly could be something they could do here. And I mean, Exafox does have the 3-lap tyre advantage compared to these two in front, and that could be crucial come the end of this race, because of course every percent of tyre wear is so crucial at an end of a Grand Prix, and it could be the difference between having so much more pace than your opponent and having to defend for your absolute life, for your position. So I mean, at the moment, the gap is still just about around the same as what it was when he did get past the AlphaTauri in front. At the moment, the Mercedes driver about 1.5 seconds behind, but will slowly be hoping to creep into that gap. But of course, on these hard tyres, they're just going to keep getting worse and worse as Exafox actually pulls out, gets back past the Mercedes driver, and the AlphaTauri up into second place once more. These two probably going to switch places, a bit like Keanu and Felipe as well. It's now 3.8 between the likes of Marco and Keanu for 7th place on the road. So as it stands, I don't think they'll be gaining enough here, will the two medium runners of Keanu and Felipe. But of course, those hard tyres, especially of Julian and Victor, will be degrading more and more, getting closer and closer to puncture territory. And the question is, will they even be able to make it to the end of the race on this tyre, or will their tyres give up and have a blowout before they even make it to the final lap of this Grand Prix?
Absolutely as well. So that's going to be another question mark. So many question marks. So it's definitely not a done deal right now as well. Julian has the advantage, but these guys are doing absolutely everything they can, and especially X-Fox, who has got the fresher tires as well, as he tries to gain, and these two try work together to try get inside the 1 second. Once they're inside the 1 second, they should just be able to now, when they do get inside the 1 second, they should just be able to easily, as you can see now, Victor Riddler using a bit of ERS to make sure that he's pulling ahead and gaining on Julian. But these guys then should just be in the battle, and then with the DRS it will be really, really helpful for both of those two drivers, as Felipe Souza and Keanu Litard continue trading positions as well. But they're really going to have to hope for a major drop-off, and also possibly a puncture from the hard tyres, because it's going to be really hard for them to do as well, because they've still got, remember, traffic to clear.
Yeah, they certainly do, and I mean, even with clearing that traffic, they then still got to overtake Hazif, Exafox and Victor to even get close to Julian. So it's still all up in the air to who wins this one. Julian could still maybe hang on to this, but Victor is getting closer. It's now 1.2 seconds. They've held about 3 tenths in that final lap to the Ferrari in front. So maybe the Scarlet Red Ferrari might be dropping off slightly in some pace, but will it be enough come race ends that the likes of Keanu and Felipe can even catch up to them? But Felipe, 1.3 is now the gap between him and Marco in front. Expected to get to about 1.1 by the time they enter the final corner. Just going to be out of DRS heading down that main straight is the Mercedes driver. He's dropped the Aston Martin of Keanu slightly. His Exafox gets past Victor Riddler once more. Again, it's now back up to 1.3, now to 1.2. 1.1 now is the gap as Mino gets past Zach Miles. These Mino and Hazif really bold strategy here to try take these mediums all the way to the end. But we can see second place in Exafox, Victor and Hazif all just slowly starting to reel in your race leader of Julian, and now Felipe Sousa all over the back of the 3 cars in front. Of course, on the older tyres, should really just be on the traction where Felipe can get by them here, but this circuit, heading through this middle part of the lap all the way to turn 10, super tricky to overtake. Turn 10, he really has to get a good run out of here and into turn 9. He will have the DRS on the Ferrari in front. More speed, of course, being able to be carried through turn 9. But it doesn't seem like he's going to get close enough. It's going to be the traction game out of here if he wants any chance of making a move into turn 11. But can't get by as Exafox still just out of the DRS window of Victor Riddler. Of Julian. 1.1 seconds. It's getting closer and closer. It's got 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix. And as it stands, I do not think it will be enough for the Aston Martin and Mercedes of Felipe and Keanu, who are now going to make it past Marco. That's one checked off their list, as also Mino and Zach are having a scrap up in front, as Keanu, late on the brakes, gets past the Ferrari, demotes him down to 9th place. But now they need to navigate, both Mino and Zach, as Exafox just dipped within a second now, and he is within DRS range of Julian. This is going to be a very interesting end to this race.
Game on at the front of the field, as it is absolutely everywhere else. As you can see, it was a great battle down to turn number 1 with the train, which is being led right now by Jelty Korsman. Felipe Sousa going on the attack as well. This is right now looking absolutely fantastic. Is Exafox. He's got DRS on this short straight, and now it's all going to be about keeping it inside the 1 second and getting DRS onto lap number 31 on the main straight. So, Exafox, as we get on the power with him, and you can see this time not really too much off a... Oh, he's got it. Yeah, he has got a bit of a slide through the mid corner there as well, but he is going to be inside the 1 second, and he'll be getting the DRS. The rear wing goes open for him. Now, let's see about Felipe Sousa. Can he maybe get his way through? Because if there's still punches, if there's still chaos, these guys could still end up winning the Grand Prix, so they've got to make the moves. Look at this, getting a super toe as we make our way through down towards turn number 1, and Zach Miles is trying to defend, and is there going to be room for Victor, and is there going to be room for Felipe Sousa, who was almost into the back of Zach Miles? That was really, really close as they went down into turn number 1. Keanu Litard's going to have to try and get his way through on Zach Miles, but it was really, really aggressive between all of these drivers as they made their way through on the brakes down to turn number 1. And let's see now, is anyone going to be going for some late dives down to turn number 5? They're all going to be trying to make some moves, but it looks like they're all going to remain in the same order at the moment as Exafox continues to put pressure on Julian.
Yeah, he certainly does. And I mean, Felipe really aggressive. He knows he needs to make these moves. He now needs to make another move on Menno heading into turn 10, you would think, but it has to lift off slightly due to the dirty air from the McLaren in front. It will look to the inside. Maybe no, he's going to maybe try get the traction game. He has to have any chance of any hope of getting a win here, but it's just seeming too far-fetched. We'll have 2 laps to go at the end of this one. Exafox could be on for his first race win of the season here. DRS open for the AlphaTauri as he gets closer to the Scarlet Ferrari in front. Of course, we have that train behind, but here comes Exafox. He actually backs out of it. He's waiting for that final lap. Felipe gets past Mino, as now Keanu finally is able to follow and get past Zach Miles into turn 1. Now, late on the base, he's actually hit Mino. Contact between the Aston Martin and the McLaren. They both go off the road. Keanu falls back down behind the Alfa Romeo. There's also a yellow flag. That's for Zachary, as he's actually gone off the circuit as well. He's had a spin himself. This is all bad news for Tias Korsman, with Felipe being up in 5th. Tias down in 14th place, of course, due to that front wing change. All his hard work was undone. But now, the battle up at the front, it's going to be between Exafox and Julian. It's going to be super close at the end of this final lap of the Grand Prix. But look at Exafox just managing his tyres, managing everything he does to have one last go on this final lap of the race. Heading through the final 2 corners now, it's going to be an absolute dogfight between the Scarlet Ferrari and the AlphaTauri. They can't make any contact though, because Victor Riddler is also lurking in the background to try pick up any scraps. Here comes the AlphaTauri though. The Ferrari in front is deracing, and to the outside goes Exafox. He gets the move done. He'll need to hold on though through the rest of the lap, especially into turn 10. Zach Miles is able to get past Mino. That is for 6th place, and Keanu not going to be close enough to make a move there, as it's now half a second nearly between Exafox and Julian. Julian's tyres starting to hit the cliff. Exafox might have perfected the strategy here. Came in under that second safety car. Got on a fresh set of hards. We're going to have to wait and see though, as he now heads into turn 7 and now through turn 8. The AlphaTauri only has a few more corners. One more sector to hold on to this race victory. It's not going to be close enough for Julian to make a move. So you'd think Exafox has got this one all in the bag. He just has to keep the car on the road. Now, heading in to turn 12, he will then head through turn 13, the penultimate corner. So now, 6th gear, just flat out through there. Just needs to make sure he gets it to the line. And Exafox rounds the final corner and wins and carries on the streak. Exafox picks up his first win of the season, and he carries on a new winner in every race so far this season. Julian, after a valiant effort to keep his keep out for that long, finishes in 2nd, and Victor Riddler in 3rd place. But Exafox, a masterclass in strategy today. He wins the Spanish Grand Prix.
Wow, absolutely fabulous stuff once again at the end of the Grand Prix, and Exafox is able to take the victory on the final 4.6 kilometers, 2.8 miles it came down to, and what a brilliant race all the way till the end. And that's why we told you to stick with us, and there was your reward all the way to the end. Fabulous action in this race, and Exafox, as you said, continues on the streak. Has had 1 podium this season where he finished in 3rd, but now it's the top step off the podium for him, and the AlphaTauri man will be absolutely celebrating this one, and Keanu Litard still is going to be hunting that victory next time out. But it's going to be Exafox who was able to beat Julian by 0.5 of a second, and it could have really been anyone, because the top 3 all haven't had a victory as well, and possibly Hassett as well hasn't taken one. Yeah, Hassett hasn't taken one as well, so the top 4 could have got a victory as well, could have taken their first win, but it was Exafox who was able to. Felipe Souza, who won in Monza, finishes in 5th, Zach Miles in 6th, Menno in 7th, Keanu Litard in 8th. He gave it his all, so did Felipe Souza, trying to fight past their traffic, but it wasn't the easiest as well to fight past with the DRS as well, and cars absolutely everywhere. Then we had Marco in 9th, Kryzix in 10th, then we had Jelty Korsman in 11th, Tristan, Danny, Tyus Korsman, the championship leader, with a day that seemed to be getting better, and then it all got worse again. So he finishes in 14th, and then we have Matty Ria in 15th, Alexander Finn in 16th, Zerky in 17th, then we have Snake in 18th, Socko in 19th, and Dustin as well as Socko, the retirements from this race.
Yeah, I mean, for T.S. Korsman, that's his championship lead now gone for him. So, unfortunately, from what seemed like a really good recovery, has ended in somewhat heartbreak there for him. So, unfortunate there for T.S. Korsman. Actually, no, I don't think his championship lead has gone. I need to quickly check the gap again.
So it's 8 points coming into this round.
And Felipe finished 5th. So that is an extra, if I can actually get the results up from Italy, that is an extra 6 points. So no, Tia, is still your championship leader, but now by 2 points heading into the final 3 races of the season. So it's going to be a very, very dramatic end to this season, you'd think. And both drivers will now have to be on their A game to have any chance of securing this title.
So I'm just asking. Yep, looks like Victor Riddler wants one as well. So yeah, looks like we are going to be speaking to Victor Riddler as well. We'll see if we're going to speak to Exafox. We'll see who joins the waiting room. If any of the top 3 do. It looks like they are, or at least we'll get Victor Riddler in, that is for sure. So yeah, we'll be going to speak to the drivers about that race. And wow, it was an absolutely fantastic race, as we mentioned, and how it came down all the way till the end. It wasn't enough for Keanu Leotard as well, and unfortunately in the races, he seems like, just like in Singapore as well, to have the pace, but then just something goes wrong. Like, for example, he might have had a bit of a chance last time out, but then but obviously then we had the EA issues. Then we also obviously this time around had the different strategies and the safety cars playing a massive part. So it doesn't look like we'll be speaking to Exafox, but we'll try get Victor Riddler in, and then we'll talk with him about how he found this race as well.
Yeah, I mean, this was so unfortunate for Keanu, and I mean, it just all boiled down to the strategy. I mean, he might have even been able to keep that one if he was able to stay out. So, I mean, Victor's joined the waiting room now, so he should be in very, very shortly. But yeah, it was so unfortunate for Keanu. It's one of those seasons for him where, when everything looks like it's going to go all right and you're going to win the race, something has to happen. But yeah, unfortunate there for Keanu.
Yep. Okay, Max, I will let you speak now to Victor Riddler, who has joined the call.
Hello, Victor. Congratulations on getting P3 today. First of all, talk us through how you found that race.
I mean, it was a very difficult race for me because in the start I qualified very well, at least for my standards in P4. But then in the start I tried to go soft medium, and then I had a stupid lunge down the inside of Exafox, and which made me spin, and causing me to go back into P18. Then the safety car pretty much saved me because I could go on to hards, since I was already on the softs to start with. So I could go on the hards and pretty much drive the whole race till the end.
Yeah, of course, a very hectic race in that one. Did you think after you went down to 18th that there was any chance? I know there was still a long way left to go, but did you think there was any chance left of getting a podium in that one?
No, definitely not. Considering my luck this season, I would definitely say that that I was not very confident. So luckily it worked out pretty well, especially considering I started my best result this season. I think is P8 because I've been so unlucky. So finally, very happy to get a good result.
Yeah, finally came into your favour for this one. And if you don't mind sharing, Victor, what was your tyre wear at the end of that race, if you know?
Oh, I think it must have been like 73 or something.
Oh, so just on the nearly the verge of getting a puncture.
Yeah, very close.
Well, one more question from myself. We head to Miami next time out. Any thoughts about Miami? You strong there, or is it a particularly weak circuit for you?
I haven't raced the league race on F123 on Miami, so it's going to be tough to do it first time. But yeah, it's a difficult circuit. It's very tiptoey and slow speed in some parts. So I quite enjoy the last sector or the last part under the bridge, but the first sector is kind of weird.
Yeah, it is. Omi, any questions for Victor?
Nope, other than well done for this amazing result, as well as you mentioned. You've got 8 2 times this season, but great now to have a podium.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yep, absolutely. Brilliant job by our top 3 and brilliant job from all of the drivers as well in this race. But Max, that was an absolutely phenomenal race from the start all the way till the end. It was chaotic all throughout. It was action packed, and it's going to be fun for me later on getting the highlights ready for you guys next week as well.
Yeah, it certainly was a good race. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Had everything you could really ask for: strategy battles, safety cars, and just overall fair but aggressive racing by some of these drivers. So, I mean, overall, I think it was very well behaved for most of that race between these guys. So, I think that was a very good race, and hopefully it'll be the same again next week in Miami.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we'll get a lot of action at Miami. We have Miami, Silverstone, and Bahrain as well. So I think 3 great circuits to end the season in terms of action. I think Miami could end up being really crazy, and I think we've also talked about this before. I think Miami could end up being really, really crazy and ends up being the best race of the season. So who knows? Definitely tune in next time out at Miami and for the remainder of this season, because it's still game on in the championship, as obviously the points gap has been closed in, so it's getting even tighter at the front of the field.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, that 4-point gap is going to be so crucial. Not 4 points, sorry, 2-point gap coming into that final 3 rounds. And I mean, also, another thing that might throw something up into the mix is that Bahrain's the final race of the season. Usually it's the first, so these drivers might be a little bit out of rhythm slightly with where Bahrain is on the calendar, and it could maybe, being the final race of the season, cause some upset. So again, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens before that in Miami and Silverstone. 2 brilliant circuits to watch and just commentate on, and hopefully brilliant racing as well. I know Silverstone will certainly deliver with a tier like this, with how closely matched they are, and it is just a brilliant race circuit. And then Bahrain to end it all off. It's gonna be a fun one. And yeah, it's certainly going to be a title battle for the ages, and I do expect to go all the way down to Bahrain till the very last lap.
Yeah, absolutely. I really do expect it to go all the way down till the last lap, because it's basically how the season has been. Close, especially in terms of the title race. So 1 week, one driver's having a good one. The other week, another driver is. So that's why it's remaining this close as well. So I'm really looking forward and cannot wait already for next week when we go racing at Miami. So I think that's going to be phenomenal. But can we have some predictions, Max? Do we think we're going to continue the winner streak once again?
I mean, I hope we do. I mean, we're just gonna have to wait to see how qualifying goes into Miami. So I mean, I hope we get to the end of the season because it'll be a pretty cool stat to have as a tier, to have a different race winner at every single track. But I have that feeling that someone will get another win, and that could be either Tias or Felipe in these next few races. And by the way it went today, I feel like it could be Felipe, and if anywhere, I feel like it could be around Silverstone.
Yes, absolutely as well. So I guess you're going to have to join us to find out. But doesn't matter if we get a repeat winner this season. The action is still going to be phenomenal. Now, well, obviously, while we have to wait all the way till Thursday to resume, there's some other stuff going on here at PSGL. You obviously have the PlayStation tiers with PSF1 and all of the tiers downwards that get streamed as well. So make sure you tune in to them to enjoy their racing around this circuit as well. We are also then obviously have PCF1 on Wednesday the 10th of January. Was a great race at Portugal yesterday, so it will be interesting to see how round 2 goes for them. And then we return back on Thursday 11th of January for the PC tiers for Miami, which is going to be absolutely thrilling. However, it's always sad when we reach the end of the streams as well. But Max, what's your final words then for everyone as we now leave Spain and now look towards Miami?
Here once again, join us next week for what will be certainly an emphatic race, absolutely amazing title battle going all the way down to the wire. So yeah, thanks once again. That's going to be it for me. Hope you all take care in this next week, and yeah, thank you, and that's it from myself, so bye bye.
2024 has started off with a bang, and we have 3 more rounds which will decide the title. Miami, Silverstone and Bahrain. Make sure you join us in each and every one of them to see how this title battle goes down all the way till the end. Is anyone going to be able to find a good run of form at the end to try and run away? Which is going to be a hard task, but you never know, anything can happen. And are we going to continue with our winner streak as well? But thank you for joining us. 2024 has started off amazingly, and we're going to have a few more races to decide the end of this season before we get ready for one final season on the F1 23 game. But for myself and Max, have a good week, and we'll see you next week in Miami. Goodbye.
Desperately trying to hang on. He's got the inside up here. He's through on the left hand side. Pumps the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.